Soichiro Honda's story is nothing short of inspiring. Born in 1906 in a small village near Mount Fuji, Japan, his life started off much like any other. His family wasn't wealthy, and his childhood was filled with sadness. Soichiro's parents had already lost 5 children to illness, and when he was born, they had very few expectations of him. But as he grew up, they soon realized that their son would become someone who would change the world. From an early age, Soichiro wasn't interested in books or school. While other kids spent their time with homework and studying, Soichiro was out in the workshop with his father. His dad was a blacksmith who repaired bicycles, and Soichiro spent hours in the shop, taking apart bikes, figuring out how they worked, and putting them back together. Even as a young boy, he was fascinated by machines and engines. Soichiro wasn't the best student. In fact, he didn't care much for formal education, but he had something far more important: curiosity and a passion for learning how things worked. He spent more time fixing bikes than going to school, and it was clear from the start that his destiny wasn't tied to textbooks. It was about working with his hands and mastering machines. At 15, Soichiro moved to Tokyo to pursue his dream of becoming a mechanic. He got a job at an auto repair shop, but things didn't go as planned. Instead of being allowed to work on cars, Soichiro was tasked with cleaning the workshop and taking care of the owner's children. Most people might have felt frustrated or discouraged, but not Soichiro. He didn't let the situation hold him back. He worked hard, stayed positive, and observed everything around him. Soichiro knew that the road to success wasn't easy, and he understood that sometimes you have to wait for your opportunity to come. When Soichiro was 16, he got a job at a larger, more prestigious company called Aichi Sekai. This was his big chance to learn about car engines, but again, his expectations were not met. The owner still made him do simple tasks like fetching tools and cleaning, keeping him away from the engines he wanted to work on. But Soichiro never gave up. Instead of feeling sorry for himself, he took every opportunity to learn. When the boss wasn't looking, Soichiro would sneak into the workshop and study the car engines. He spent hours after work trying to figure out how things worked. He didn't let anyone tell him what he couldn't do. Soichiro realized that in life, you might not always get what you want right away, but with patience and persistence, opportunities will eventually come. And when they do, you need to be ready to grab them. By the time Soichiro turned 22, his hard work began to pay off. He became part of a team that created 2 race cars. These cars were entered into the Japanese Motor Car Championship in 1924, and to everyone's surprise, they won. This victory changed everything for Soichiro. It was his first big win in the car world, and it sparked a fire in him. He realized that he could build cars that could compete at the highest level. This was just the beginning of his journey. But success didn't come easily. Soichiro wasn't content with just racing cars. He dreamed of starting his own company, a company that would build cars and engines that changed the world. In 1936, he co-founded a company called Tokai Seiki Heavy Industry, which made piston rings for cars. At first, things were tough. There were many failures. His company wasn't making money, and it seemed like his dream of creating something big might fall apart. But Soichiro didn't give up. He kept improving his designs, kept learning from his mistakes, and eventually his pistons were in high demand. This success gave him the confidence to keep going. Just when things were going well, disaster struck. World War II hit Japan hard, and Soichiro's company was no exception. The Japanese government took control of many companies, including Soichiro's. He was demoted to a senior management position, and many of his workers were sent to war. The war itself devastated Japan, and Soichiro's factory was bombed during air raids. In a matter of months, everything he had worked for was destroyed. But Soichiro didn't let the war break him. After the war ended, Japan was in ruins. The country was facing fuel shortages, and people were struggling to get by. Soichiro saw this as an opportunity to make a difference. He came up with a simple yet brilliant idea. Attach small engines to bicycles. This would help people get around, even with limited fuel. His motorized bicycles became an instant hit. They were affordable, practical, and perfect for a country in recovery. Soichiro's new idea helped millions of people, and it marked the beginning of Honda Motor Co. Soichiro's motorized bicycles helped him rebuild his company, but his dreams didn't stop there. He wanted to build cars. In 1948, he founded Honda Motor Company, and he started working on creating a car that would change the world. But things weren't easy. His early car designs didn't sell well, and many people doubted his ability to succeed. But Soichiro wasn't discouraged. He believed in his vision and he kept working on improving his cars. In 1972, Soichiro's hard work paid off. He released the Honda Civic, a small, affordable, fuel-efficient car. The world was ready for something like the Civic. People needed a car that was practical, affordable, and fuel-efficient. The Civic became a massive hit, not just in Japan, but around the world. It was the breakthrough Soichiro had been waiting for. The success of the Civic turned Honda Motor Company into one of the largest car companies in the world. By 1973, after years of hard work, Soichiro Honda retired. He had built a global empire from nothing. He had overcome failure, war, loss, and doubt to create something incredible. But his legacy didn't stop there. Soichiro's story teaches us that success isn't just about talent, it's about persistence, about facing failure, learning from it, and never giving up on your dreams. Soichiro Honda passed away in 1991, but his impact is still felt today. His story continues to inspire millions of people around the world. Honda is now a household name, and Soichiro's life reminds us that no matter where you start or how many times you fail, you can achieve greatness. You just need to believe in yourself, keep learning, and never give up.